here, you monster! That's it! Oh, hang on! No, no! Back! Back! Ah!
In the murky, slow-moving waters of a Texas bayou, a monster lurks. A creature that has survived for 100 million years, a living dinosaur, a fish that can grow to be 8 feet long and weigh over 300 pounds. The alligator gar, a prehistoric killing machine. For decades, it was a ghost, a legend, a creature that was hunted to the brink of extinction. But in 2023, a Texas fisherman, using a rig that everyone called a tangled mess, caught a 300-pound monster that shattered world records and changed the way we think about this ancient predator. This is the story of a man, a fish, and a secret that was almost lost to time. The Trinity River is a muddy, lazy river that winds its way through the heart of East Texas. It is a river of secrets, a river of ghosts, a river that is home to a creature that has been swimming in its waters since the time of the dinosaurs. Jed Stone is a man of the river, a fifth-generation fisherman who has spent his life on the Trinity. He is a man who knows the river's secrets, its rhythms, its moods. He is a man who has seen things that most people would not believe. He has seen the ghost, the monster, the alligator gar. He has been chasing it for years. It has become his obsession, his white whale. He has tried everything, every bait, every rig, every technique. But the ghost has always eluded him. It is too smart, too big, too powerful. But Jed has a secret that has been passed down through his family for generations. A secret rig, a rig that his great-grandfather invented. A rig that is designed to catch the uncatchable. It is a strange-looking rig, a tangled mess of wires, hooks, and swivels. It looks like something that a madman would create. The other fishermen laugh at him. They call him Crazy Jed. They say he is chasing a ghost. But Jed doesn't care. He knows the secret of the rig. He knows that it is not a tangled mess. It is a work of genius, a masterpiece of engineering, a rig that is designed to do one thing, to catch a monster. The secret is in the way the bait is presented. The rig allows the bait, a large live carp, to swim freely, naturally. It does not restrict its movement. It does not make it look like a lure. It makes it look like a meal. The secret is also in the hooks. They are not one, but two, a small hook that is placed in the carp's lip, and a large treble hook that is hidden in its body. The small hook is a trigger. The large hook is a trap. When the gar takes the bait, it does not feel the hooks. It swallows the carp whole, and then, when it is too late, when the bait is deep in its gullet, Jed sets the hook. The small hook pulls the large hook out of the carp's body, and the trap is sprung. It is a brilliant design, a deadly design, a design that has been perfected over 100 years, a design that is about to be put to the ultimate test. Jed prepares his rig, he baits his hooks, he casts his line, he is in his favorite spot. A deep, slow-moving pool where the river bends, a place where the ghosts are said to gather. He waits. He is a man who knows how to wait. He has waited for years. He can wait for a few more hours. The sun beats down. The air is thick with humidity. The river is a sheet of glass. Nothing moves. Nothing stirs. The world is holding its breath. And then it happens. A shadow. A dark, massive shape that moves beneath the surface. It is the ghost, the monster, the king of the Trinity River. It circles the bait. It is cautious. It is smart. It has seen hooks before. It has seen traps before. It has survived for 100 years by being smart. But it has never seen a rig like this. It has never seen a bait that looks so real. so alive, so irresistible. It takes the bait. Jed feels the pull, a slow, steady, powerful pull. He does not move. He does not panic. He lets the fish run. He knows the secret. He knows he has to wait. He has to let the trap spring itself. The fish runs for 100 yards. It is a freight train, a submarine, a force of nature. Jed holds on. His rod is bent in half. His line is screaming off the reel. But he holds on. He is connected to a dinosaur, a living fossil, a piece of history. And then he sets the hook. The explosion is instantaneous. The water erupts. The fish leaps from the river. It is a monster, a demon, a creature from a nightmare. It is 8 feet long. It has a head like an alligator, a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. It is a killing machine. And it is angry. It thrashes. It rolls. It dives. It is trying to break the line, to break the rod, to break the man. But Jed is a man of the river. He is a man of steel. He will not be broken. The battle rages for hours. It is a battle of titans, a battle of wills, a battle between a man and a monster, a battle between the present and the past. Jed is tiring. His muscles are screaming. His back is on fire. But he does not give up. He cannot give up. This is his moment, his destiny, his chance to prove that he is not crazy, that the ghost is real, that the secret is true. He pulls the fish closer, closer. He can see its eyes, cold, black, ancient eyes, eyes that have seen the world change, eyes that have seen dinosaurs come and go, eyes that are now looking at him. He knows he cannot land this fish alone. He calls for help. His voice is a hoarse, desperate cry. His son, who is fishing nearby, hears him. He comes. He sees the fish. He is speechless. He has heard the stories. He has seen the rig. But he has never believed, until now. Together they fight the fish, the father and the son, the old and the new, the past and the future. They are a team, a family, a dynasty of fishermen. They bring the fish to the shore. It is a monster, a true monster. It is bigger than they could have ever imagined. It is a fish of a lifetime, a fish of a century, a fish of a millennium. They measure it. They weigh it. It is 302 pounds. A new state record, a new world record. A fish that will make them legends. But they do not kill it. They do not take it home as a trophy. They know that this fish is more than just a record. It is a survivor, a relic, a piece of history, a living dinosaur. They take a picture. They take a measurement. And then they let it go. They watch as the ghost swims away, back to the depths, back to its home, back to its secrets. They have not conquered it. They have honored it. They have respected it. They have become a part of its story, and in doing so, they have become a part of the river's story, the story of a man, a fish, and a secret that was almost lost to time, the story of a father and a son, the story of a dynasty, the story of the king of the Trinity River, the story of the Alligator Gar, the ghost, the monster, the survivor, the legend. The king is not dead. Long live the king. The river endures. The secret remains. And the story continues, forever and ever, in the heart of Texas, in the heart of the river, in the heart of a family, the family of fishermen who caught a ghost, and in doing so became legends themselves. The legends of the Trinity River, the keepers of the secret, the guardians of the ghost, the kings of the river, forever. The release of the 302-pound Alligator Gar was a quiet affair. There were no news cameras, no cheering crowds, just a father, a son, and a prehistoric fish that was now a part of their family's legacy. But the ripples of that day would spread far beyond the muddy banks of the Trinity River. Jed's son, a young man named Billy, was a modern fisherman. He had grown up with graphite rods, with braided lines, with fish finders. He had always been skeptical of his father's old ways, of the secret rig, of the stories of the ghost. But that day, he had become a believer. He had seen the power of tradition, the wisdom of the past. He became obsessed. He wanted to understand the science behind the secret rig. He wanted to know why it worked when all the modern techniques had failed. He started a journey of discovery, a journey that would take him from the dusty archives of Texas A&M to the cutting-edge laboratories of the University of Florida. He learned that his great-grandfather was not just a fisherman, he was a genius, an intuitive engineer, a man who had understood the fluid dynamics of the river, the behavior of the gar, the physics of a hook set in a way that modern science was only now beginning to appreciate. He learned that the tangled mess of the rig was actually a sophisticated system of shock absorption. The wires and swivels were not random. They were precisely placed to dissipate the force of the gar's powerful head shakes, to prevent the line from snapping, to keep the hooks from pulling out. He learned that the two-hook system was a masterpiece of deception. The small trigger hook mimicked the struggle of a dying fish. The hidden treble hook was a Trojan horse, a deadly surprise. He learned that his family's secret was not just a rig. It was a philosophy, a way of fishing that was based on respect, on understanding, on becoming a part of the river's ecosystem, not just an intruder. Billy was a man on a fire. He started a blog, a YouTube channel. He began to share his family's secret with the world. He taught other fishermen how to build the rig, how to use it, how to catch and release the alligator gar with the respect and reverence it deserved. He became a champion for the gar, a species that had been vilified for decades, a species that had been hunted to the brink of extinction. He showed the world that the gar was not a monster. It was a magnificent creature, a vital part of the river's ecosystem, a living dinosaur that deserved our protection. His message resonated with a new generation of fishermen, a generation that was tired of the kill-and-grill mentality, a generation that was looking for a deeper connection with nature, a generation that was looking for a new kind of hero. And they found it in Jed and Billy Stone, the father and son who had caught a ghost, the men who had shared their secret with the world, the guardians of the Trinity River. But with fame came a new kind of threat, a threat that was far more dangerous than any poacher or polluter, a threat that came in the form of a reality TV show. River Monsters, Texas, they called it, a show that was all about the thrill of the hunt, the glory of the kill. They wanted to feature Jed and Billy. They wanted to film them catching a giant gar. They wanted to make them stars. But they also wanted drama. They wanted conflict. They wanted a monster. They wanted to portray the gar as a man-eater, a killer, a demon of the deep. Jed and Billy refused. They would not be a part of a show that vilified the fish they had come to love. They would not betray the river. They would not sell their souls for 15 minutes of fame. The show's producers were furious. They were not used to being told no. They decided to make the show anyway. Without Jed and Billy, they would find their own fishermen, their own experts, their own monster. They found it in a man named Gator Mike, a charismatic, self-proclaimed gar guru from Louisiana, a man who had no respect for the fish, no respect for the river, no respect for the law, a man who was all about the kill. Gator. Mike came to the Trinity River with his own crew, his own cameras, his own brand of mayhem. He used illegal techniques. He baited the water with blood. He used massive barbed hooks that were designed to kill, not to catch. He was a force of destruction, a plague on the river. He was everything that Jed and Billy had fought against. The two sides were on a collision course, the guardians of the river versus the exploiters, the conservationists versus the killers, the past versus the future. The soul of the Trinity River hung in the balance. Jed and Billy knew they had to stop him. They had to protect the river. They had to protect the ghost. They organized a protest, a flotilla of fishermen who believed in their cause. They surrounded Gator Mike's film crew. They blocked their boats. They chanted. They held up signs. They were a peaceful army, a wall of defiance. Gator Mike was enraged. He was losing his shot. He was losing his audience. He was losing his mind. He decided to take matters into his own hands. He rammed his boat into Billy's. The two men were thrown into the water. The river was a churning chaos of boats and bodies. And then the ghost appeared, the 302-pound Alligator Gar, the king of the Trinity River. It had been drawn by the commotion, by the blood in the water, by the scent of its ancient enemy. It swam towards Gator Mike. Its eyes were cold, its mouth was open, its teeth were bared. It was a monster, a true monster, and it was about to deliver its own brand of river justice. "Gator!" Mike screamed, a scream of pure, unadulterated terror. He was about to be eaten alive by the very creature he had come to vilify. But the Gar did not attack. It swam past him. It swam towards Billy. It nudged him gently. It was protecting him. It was saving him. It was a guardian, a true guardian. And then it was gone, disappeared into the muddy depths of the Trinity River, leaving behind a stunned silence, a sense of awe, a moment of profound and utter disbelief. Gator. Mike was pulled from the water. He was a broken man. His career was over. His show was cancelled. His reputation was in tatters. He had been defeated, not by a man, but by a fish, by a ghost, by the spirit of the river. Jed and Billy became legends. Their story was told and retold. It became a part of Texas folklore, a part of the river's history, a part of the world's consciousness. They had done more than just catch a fish. They had started a movement to protect the Alligator Gar, a movement to protect the rivers, a movement to protect the planet. And it all started with a secret rig, a secret that had been passed down through a family of fishermen, a secret that had been shared with the world, a secret that had changed everything, forever. The ghost of the Trinity River was no longer a secret. It was a symbol of hope, a symbol of resilience, a symbol of the enduring power of nature, and of the human spirit, the spirit of the guardians, the spirit of the kings of the river, the spirit of Texas, the spirit of the wild, the spirit that will live on forever and ever, in the heart of the river, in the heart of the world, in the heart of all who believe. The ghost is real, the secret is out, and the story is just beginning. The legend will never die, the river will never die, and the ghost will swim on forever. The incident with Gator Mike became a viral sensation. The footage, captured on a dozen cell phones, was raw, chaotic, and undeniable. It showed a monster fish not as a killer, but as a savior. It showed a TV personality not as a hero, but as a fraud. It was a story that was too good to be true, and the world couldn't get enough of it. But for Jed and Billy, the victory was bittersweet. They had saved the river, but they had also exposed it. The Trinity was no longer a quiet, forgotten backwater. It was a destination, a pilgrimage site for fishermen from around the world, all of them wanting to catch a ghost, all of them wanting to become a legend. The river was under siege. The pressure was immense. The delicate balance of the ecosystem was being threatened. The GRR, once hunted to the brink of extinction, were now being loved to death. Jed and Billy knew they had to do something. They had to find a way to protect the river from its newfound fame. They had to turn the tide of public opinion. They had to change the narrative. Again. They decided to create a new kind of tournament. A tournament that was not about catching the biggest fish, but about protecting it. The Trinity River Alligator Gar Conservation Tournament. A catch-and-release tournament. A tournament that would raise money for gar research and habitat restoration. A tournament that would celebrate the fish, not conquer it. It was a radical idea. A tournament with no prize money, no trophies, no bragging rights, just the satisfaction of knowing that you were a part of something bigger than yourself. A part of a movement to save a species, to save a river. They expected a few dozen entries. They got hundreds. Fishermen from all over the world, from Japan, from Australia, from Germany. They came to the Trinity River not to conquer a monster, but to honor a king, to learn from the guardians, to become a part of the legend. The tournament was a huge success. It raised thousands of dollars. It generated a massive amount of positive press. It changed the way the world saw the alligator gar. It changed the way the world saw fishing, but it also attracted a new kind of enemy. An enemy that was far more powerful than any TV personality. An enemy that was invisible, insidious, and deadly. A corporation. A chemical company. A company that had been secretly dumping toxic waste into the Trinity River for years. A company that was poisoning the river, the fish, the people. The company, a shadowy multinational called ChemCorp, saw the tournament as a threat. The increased attention on the river meant an increased risk of exposure. They had to shut it down. They had to silence Jed and Billy. They had to protect their secret, their profits. They started a smear campaign. They hired lobbyists. They bought politicians. They planted fake news stories. They portrayed Jed and Billy as eco-terrorists, as radicals who were trying to destroy the local economy, as men who cared more about fish than about people. The villagers who had once hailed Jed and Billy as heroes were now divided. Some believed the lies. They were afraid of losing their jobs, their homes, their way of life. They turned against the guardians of the river. Again. Jed and Billy were fighting a war on two fronts. A war against a faceless corporation, and a war for the hearts and minds of their own community. It was a war they were losing. They needed a miracle. They needed a ghost. They needed the king of the Trinity River. But the gar were disappearing. The poison was taking its toll. The fish were sick. They were dying. The ghost was fading. Jed and Billy knew they had to get proof. They had to expose ChemCorp. They had to show the world what was happening to their river. They had to find a smoking gun. They started their own investigation. They took water samples. They tested the fish. They documented the deformities, the tumors, the death. They were scientists now, citizen scientists, warriors armed with data, with evidence, with the truth. They built a case, a powerful case, a case that was undeniable, a case that would bring ChemCorp to its knees. But they needed one more thing. They needed a symbol. They needed a victim. They needed a ghost. They went to the deep pool, the place where they had caught the king. They cast their line. They waited. They prayed. And the king came. He was a shadow of his former self. He was weak. He was sick. He was dying. The poison had taken its toll. The ghost was fading. They brought him to the shore. He did not fight. He did not struggle. He was surrendering. He was giving himself to them. He was making the ultimate sacrifice. They documented his condition, the lesions on his skin, the tumors in his body, the poison in his blood. He was the smoking gun, the undeniable proof, the symbol of ChemCorp's crime. And then, as they were about to release him, to let him die in peace in his home, he did something extraordinary. He convulsed, he thrashed, and he regurgitated something that was not a fish, something that was not natural. It was a barrel, a small, rusted metal barrel, a barrel with a single word stenciled on its side, a word that would change everything: ChemCorp. It was the smoking gun, the final piece of the puzzle, the undeniable link between the corporation and the poison. The king had delivered the final piece of evidence, his final gift, his final act of defiance. He died in their arms. The king was dead. The ghost was gone. The river was silent. But his death was not in vain. It was a catalyst, a spark, a revolution. The evidence was irrefutable. The world was outraged. ChemCorp was exposed. The government was forced to act. The company was brought to justice. The river was saved. But the victory was a hollow one. The king was dead. The river was scarred. The magic was gone. Or was it? Jed and Billy, in their grief, remembered the words of their ancestor, the man who had invented the secret rig, the man who had started it all. "The river is a circle," he had written in his journal. "There is no beginning, there is no end, there is only life, death, and rebirth. The ghost is not a fish, it is a spirit, the spirit of the river, and the spirit can never die." They went back to the deep pool, the sacred place, the place where the king had died. They cast their line. They waited. They believed. And the river answered, a shadow, a dark, massive shape that moved beneath the surface. It was a gar, a giant gar, a gar that was even bigger than the king, a new ghost. And it was not alone. It was surrounded by other gar, dozens of them, hundreds of them, a new generation of giants, a new army of ghosts. The river was not dead. It was alive. The magic was not gone. It was stronger than ever. The spirit had been reborn. Jed and Billy smiled. They had not lost. They had won. They had won the ultimate victory. They had become a part of the circle, a part of the story, a part of the magic. They were no longer just fishermen. They were guardians. They were keepers of the secret. They were the friends of the ghosts. They were the kings of the river, forever and ever. In the heart of Texas, in the heart of the river, in the heart of the world. The story continues. The legend lives on. The ghost is real. The secret is out. And the river will never be the same, thanks to a man, a fish, and a secret that was almost lost to time. The secret of the Trinity River, the secret of life itself, the secret that is waiting to be discovered by all of us, if we are only brave enough to listen, to believe, to become a part of the circle of life, the circle of the river, the circle of the ghost, forever.